G'day folks, what is going on? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. Lovely afternoon here on the Gold Coast in Australia. So I thought I would step outside and film this one, a little bit of a change of scenery, not in the office today. So in this one, I want to tell you about how I paid $24,000 to join a Facebook group, okay? Now, that statement in isolation may sound absolutely insane to some of you. That follow along my stuff, that may not sound crazy, but I want to talk about that experience, why I did it, and the results that it's yielded, and how I look at the world in terms of spending that type of money on a Facebook group, and why I would happily do it again and again, okay, and why it served me really well, that perspective over the last 4 years in particular. I would say 3 to 4 years. So that's what we're going to talk about in this one. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel, give this video a like if you get any value from it. I'm curious, let me know in the comments, what is the biggest investment that you've spent on mentorship or coaching or advice in order to help you hit your goals, be that financial, health, relationships, whatever. I'm curious to know what's the most that you've dropped, and I'm also curious to know, was it worth it? I'd like to know that as well. Let me know in the comments. All right, so let's jump into this one. So I'll tell you a little bit of a story. Let me take you back to late 2000 and losing track of my years. Late 2020. Okay, I was actually here in my apartment, and one of my students who I helped go from scratch to building a six-figure online business was here. Actually, two of them were who I helped both of them achieve that same result. They were both here, and we were hanging out, and we went out for lunch and stuff, and then we were just sitting on the balcony having a couple of glasses of wine one night and chatting about business, and this dude mentioned this guy's name, Travis Sago, and it was the second time I'd heard this name. Second time. My first mentor, who I bought a $100 course off in 2017 in blogging, had mentioned his name to me as well, because he'd worked with him. And typically when I hear someone's name mentioned a couple of times, it usually causes me to kind of prick my ears up and really pay attention. So that night, after we kind of wrapped up with a few drinks, I did a bit of digging, joined his Facebook group and stuff like that. And then the following Monday, jumped into a couple of his programs. That really opened my eyes to this guy's world, his views on selling and marketing, and he just had a perspective that really resonated with me. So I took the information from that course, which was $1,900, and implemented it. Ran a campaign using the stuff from that course, and that pulled in about $45,000 in 11 days. Right, so good ROI. Okay, and that's a key piece there. Really good ROI. Things rolled along. Got around to the middle of the year-ish, and I was at a little bit of a crossroads in my business. I was really trying to figure out what direction I wanted to take things, what type of business that I really want to build, kind of entering a new phase. When you're in this world where there's a lot of people, giving you advice, and I appreciate the irony of that while I'm filming a video like this, but there is a lot of noise, right? There's no sugarcoating that. And you do really need to be careful what you take in, how much you take in, how much you let it impact you, and that you still really kind of reflect internally in terms of what do you want, right? And so I guess I was looking around at people that had kind of achieved similar things to me, and the way that they were going about building their business. And I saw there was this massive trend towards people, building huge teams and, taking on a lot of employees and taking on a lot of kind of bloat in terms of costs, and building these big teams of setters and building these big teams of closers in order to, build a 7 or multi-7-figure information business. And I come from a corporate world from 2011 through to 2018, where I worked in really high stress scenarios. We're involved in big businesses with big teams, lots of problems. And when I was looking at, okay, well, over the next 5-10 years as I'm building up this business, do I want that again? They weren't my businesses, obviously. We were consulting, but the more people that you have to try and deal with, the more problems that tend to pop up. And so I was trying to figure out what's the best path to take. And at that time, an opportunity popped up again with Travis, the guy I bought the course from, at the start of the year and turned, a $1,900 investment into 45 grand in 11 days. And I'd done a couple of other things with the information from that. I ran another launch that pulled in about 15 grand in a couple of weeks. And so I really like the style. And then in this offering around the middle of the year, he kind of showed me a way that would mean I'd be able to hit the income goals that I wanted to hit, but kind of illuminated for me that I didn't have to follow that path of building out a huge team and having, all of these people working under me in different departments and this huge, organizational complexity in terms of all of the people. He showed me that, that really wasn't necessary. Got a bit of wind coming through. Just wait a second, let that die off. So Travis showed me that, there was a way that this could all come together without needing to go down that path. And I knew deep down, looking at these other businesses, that the margin wasn't there. And I just didn't want to go back to a world of dealing with a lot of people. So I jumped at the opportunity to work with him and joined one of his masterminds, which is all contained within a Facebook group, right? And to some people who haven't spent that kind of money on coaching or mentorship, or have a big resistance to those types of products, I know there's people out there that feel that way, and that's totally okay. That's their prerogative. And there's also people out there who feel they need to get a lot of stuff, like especially in this business coaching space. There's, I need an accountability coach, and I need a one-to-one coach, and I need like 5 calls every week on copy and offer creation and my funnels and tech, and like they just need so much stuff in order to be able to justify the purchase to themselves, or I don't know, maybe their business partner or their spouse, whoever. And I was really refreshed by the completely different approach and this investment of 24K in a Facebook group that was just all self-contained. It was all built around being able to work with Travis, the raw simplicity of it, right? Being able to get his leadership, his experience in order to execute on this plan. It just made sense, right? It made sense to me. And so I jumped in. It was like 2 o'clock in the morning. I jumped in without hesitating. And that was about July last year. So it's February 2022 at the time of filming this. And every single week since then, I've showed up for the weekly call, right? I'll ask questions in this Facebook group from time to time. There's a couple of years of backlogs of video content, but just from being in that group with those people and being able to show up on a weekly call and ask questions and listen and really tap into the experience of somebody with these types of results and somebody with this view of the world, right? That things can be simple, and in order to sell stuff for a higher ticket, you don't have to have a million deliverables, because that's not really where the value comes from. It's just been such an eye-opening experience, and that $24,000 investment, $2,000 a month, has turned into a $30,000 a month income stream. Okay, so what I want to really encourage you to do, and the big thing I want you to take away from this video, is if you're looking at making investments in any aspect of your life where you feel like you'll be able to derive some improvement, be that financial, health, a relationship, whatever, just be really, really careful about what you feel determines value, right? If there's somebody that you really, really want to work with, but maybe they are only offering a Facebook group and they don't have 6 coaches and 3 accountability calls every week, and there's not all this stuff, right? But they are the person that you want to work with, and they've got a plan, right? And you really resonate with them and their style, right? And they're showing you a path that fits with where you want to go, then do it, right? Because that alignment and that congruency between you and that person and their approach to achieving your goals is more important than how much stuff you are going to get. Because I've seen this time and time again. People jump into programs where there's like all of these millions of different things, and they just straight up don't use it, right? They don't need a call. How the fuck can you get on a call every single day, right? Like it's just overkill. And the accountability thing is interesting. We offer accountability to some of our students who want it, but I've always found it interesting because I don't really think it should be something that you need. It's okay to use it and to want it as a nice to have, but you really shouldn't need someone to keep you accountable if you're investing and doing something that you is really, really going to be beneficial to you. You need to be able to draw the motivation from within, not because someone's nudging you every week. That to me is quite like artificial. I understand it can help, but it can't be the sole driver. Okay, is my point. So what I want to encourage you to do is if you're looking at opportunities out there, just be really, really conscious of what are you attributing value to. Okay, because you might be passing up awesome opportunities just because you feel like you need all of this stuff in order to justify the investment. All right, that's the takeaway for you. And for me, having that perspective on things, right? Like, you know, I might sign up to a $100 a month newsletter, and I'll get people who message me and go, "Oh, is it worth it?" And it's like, it's $100. Like, if you can't extract value and get an ROI on $100 in growing your business from, you know, assuming you're buying from people who have real world experience, then there's something else that's going wrong, right? There's something else that's going wrong, and you need to probably fix that before you invest in other things. So that's a little, just a little story for you today. You don't need 1,000,001 things in order to justify an investment and to get value, right? In fact, I'm a big believer in that simple is better, right? Simple will, in the long run, allow you to grow and compound your results and avoid burnout, and the benefits just keep going and going and going and going. All right, so I would encourage you to look at the world through that lens. If there's an investment you want to make it for the right reasons, and make sure you're looking at it in terms of where the value comes from. Make sure you're looking at the right things. And the big thing is who is leading the charge with you, right? That's the biggest thing, is who is behind it all. And it's not so much about how much stuff you get, because the reality is you're probably not going to use all the stuff that you get anyway. Okay, that's one of the best investments that I've ever made, if not the best, and it was 24 grand for a Facebook group. So hopefully that little story will give some of you a nudge in terms of investing in things, or in terms of shifting your perspective on what determines value and where you can extract value from. You've got to back yourself in to get an ROI, and usually that means having the confidence to take the stuff and implement it and troubleshoot, and not throwing your hands in the air if it doesn't work the first time. Okay, that's the value lens I've adopted in investing in coaches and mentors and programs over the last 3 or 4 years, and it served me really, really well. Right, I either get a massive ROI, or I learn some direct ROI, or I learn some really, really important lessons that will lead to an ROI anyway, be that a time-saving ROI or a financial ROI. Okay, hopefully you took something out of this one. I'll see you all in the next video. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Click the first link in the description. You can join our private community if you feel so inclined, and I'll talk to you all soon.